beep. Oh. Now it's beeped.
Hey, Keon.
No.
Why no?
No.
We don't want to throw shade on it.
Too late. Time's up. You should have planned before you walked up here. Get back there. No, I gave you a chance to walk all the way up. You should have planned what you were going to say so you didn't stand there looking like a doofus.
David took my textbook.
Don't care.
Shut up, Mr. Miles.
You don't need it right now. You need this in front of you. If this is in front of you, you got everything you need. Okay. BEDMAS is lovely. Because without BEDMAS, you couldn't win the lottery. It is absolutely true. You also technically couldn't win the free fries at McDonald's on Monopoly. I'll tell you why when we get to the end of these notes. So, you guys know what all this stands for, right? Of course you do, because you've been in grade 6. What does B stand for? Brackets. Now, here's the problem. In math, we use brackets all the time. But most of the time, we use brackets that look like that, which aren't actual brackets. Those are called parentheses, which is why some teachers don't say BEDMAS, they say PEMDAS. Yes. Because P stands for parentheses instead of brackets, which is fine until those teachers that say PEMDAS do math higher than grade 9. And higher than grade 9, we do use actual brackets, which look like this. The problem with both of these names is in a lot of math, we use both of them. Let me give you an example. If I write something like this, now, do you see how to write this properly, I've had to use both parentheses and brackets. So either way, it's just like you're always forgetting something, so it doesn't matter. But remember, the point is this is the order that we work in. Now, you all already know that, but there's a couple of issues. For example, what I'm about to write in red, is that something you would do as a bracket? Why?
Because it's not an equation, it's just a number.
It's not an operation. An equation has to have an equal sign. But that's not an operation. So what the heck are the brackets doing there? Why do I have brackets there if it's not an operation, Kyle? To tell me that it is a negative, which is why we always spend the beginning of this year talking about the number line, because this is this spot on the number line. Okay? Everybody with me? It's not a BEDMAS-y bracket. Cool? I know, it's not a real word, but I like to say BEDMAS-y. Everybody good? All right. Now, next, what's the E? Exponents. Now, right now, the biggest exponent you guys have is going to be 2. So you're going to have, and it's going to always have a number. So 3 with a little 2 over it. Next unit, we're going to do a lot more work with exponents. But right now, the biggest one you're going to see is a 2. What does that mean?
Squared.
Yes, but what does that mean? That means 3 times 3. Okay? Now, you guys are smart kids. Isn't an exponent just 3 times 3? Which is the next thing that we do, multiplying. Picking up what I'm putting down? That's why we do exponents first. Now, what is special about these two and these two? Because you can see they're in opposite order. Stephen? That's okay. Would anybody like to pick Stephen up here? Because he knows what I'm asking. He just is having trouble putting it into words. They're the same, aren't they? They're the exact same operation, right?
I would say same because I don't know.
Oh! But we know this from fractions, right? Because dividing fractions is what? It's just multiplying. So these are the exact same thing. So how do I know which one to do first? If they're the same level, how do I know which one I do first? Right. These are done left to right, just like we read. Start on the left and work to the right. Okay? Even in other cultures where they read backwards to us, where they read right to left.
That seems confusing.
Or in China or Japan where they read up and down. No, it's just the way they read. They think the way we read is weird. Really, when you think about it, Austin, since the Chinese had a written language long before we did, doesn't it make more sense to say that it's weird that we read crossways? Since they were writing way before we were?
Whoa.
Wild, hey?
I'm just gonna do that. You're mine.
I know, right? Dale?
Then what does every language run off of?
What do you mean, what does it run off of?
Because we speak English, does other cultures run off of that?
No.
Our words.
Well, technically, what's actually happening in the world is English is getting everywhere. And it's invading every other language. Right? Like you'll hear people in France even talking about, they'll be talking along in French and they'll drop in an English word. Right? Blah, 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 blah in French. Okay. Okay is English. Right? They do it all the time. Now, fancy French people get really mad about it. Oh, no, they really do. Like, for example, in France, you and I would say, even if we were speaking French, I would say, send me an email in French. But I would say email, the English word for it. But technically in French, it's courriel électronique. And that's what you're supposed to say.
Sounds like it's here.
And the people that are in charge of the French language are very, 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 very tense about it. They are very angry about the proliferation of English words into the French language, and every other language for that matter.
So it's like that.
No, it's not that. It's just like everybody. Your language, there are certain things, Austin, that are very important to your culture, and language is one of them, right? Just like in Canada, every native group had their own language. And that's now disappearing because not many people can speak it anymore and it wasn't written down. But what's a big deal? The native group, all the native groups are trying to get their language back, right? Because that's part of your culture. Well, France has been speaking French for thousands of years. English is a very, very young language. Very young. It's only about 1,000 years old. So everybody... But it's everywhere in the world. So the people that are speaking older languages, their language is getting degraded by English words coming into it. And that bothers some of those people. And I can understand it, right? Because their languages were pure. English is a mix-up of Latin, French, German, mostly German, really. Most of English comes from German. So our language is a mix of every other language. So we don't mind other words coming in. Like we'll use rendezvous, no problem. Right? We're going to meet later. We don't actually know what it means, but rendezvous in French means meet you. So we use it as a word anytime you're going to meet up with somebody. We'll rendezvous later. Right? And it's a word that is in English. We're just used to words coming into English because our language is made up. Whereas other languages are older and it bothers them. Now, how did this happen? How did courriel électronique come into this? Oh, you were saying that it's weird to read up and down. See how much stuff you learn in math class? All right, and then obviously these two. What are these two? Add and subtract, and we do them left to right. Now, the key to doing BEDMAS properly is this. Put a star here. Rewrite your work. I'm going to highlight that. And I'm going to put a Mrs. Bad Crumble star cloud around it. Because too many of you refuse to do this. You say math is difficult, but then I look at your work and you refuse to do steps. Okay? When you think about it, walking is nearly impossible, yet you all learned how to do it. In 2 years, you're going to learn to drive a car, which is the hardest thing that an average human has to do. You're all going to learn how to do it. So to look at me and say, I cannot do math, Mr. Myers, and then, oh, by the way, I'm about to get my L, that's horse pucky. Picking up what I'm putting down? If you can learn to operate a machine like a car, you can do math. If you can finish Call of Duty 8, then you can learn math. Okay? No, it's not a thing. I'm making fun of it. Okay? All right, so here we go. Now, you guys, you want to be lazy, and that's okay. We're math guys. So the way I would do this question, if I were you, is I would rewrite each step. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite each step. You guys probably won't want to do that. But before I even start writing it down, I'm going to come up with the method I'm going to use to attack it. Right? When you're playing Call of Duty 8, you just don't run into some room and get your head shot off. You think, well, of course you do. Because, But if you are playing the game properly, you have done some recon and you know what's waiting in there. All right. So, I'm going to look at this question. I'm going to decide what am I going to do first. What am I going to do first there? Yeah, you do. Are there any brackets?
Yeah.
Are those BEDMAS brackets?
No.
No, so brackets are out. Are there any exponents? No. So exponents are out. Is there any division?
Yeah.
Where? Right here on the left. And since we go left to right, that's where I got to start, correct? Now, let's pretend that you guys can't divide that in your head. What do you get to do? What do you get to do if you can't do the step in your head? Calculator. What is negative 2.4 divided by 1.2? Get out your calculator if you need to. What kind of 2? Negative 2. Now here's the mistake you guys are going to make. You're not going to write that down. Because you're going to be like, I got it, it's negative 2. Write it down. Rewrite your work. Negative 2. And I'm going to put it in brackets. Why? Because it's negative. Minus 7 times 0.2. So have I done my division? Great. What's next? Multiplication. Do you see any? Where? Right here. Can you do that in your head? Some of you can, some of you can't. So what are you going to do? Get out your calculator. You didn't change negative 2. You didn't change the minus, but you did this. What's this? 1.4. Right?
Yeah.
Now, some of you aren't going to be able to do that in your head. So what do?
Calculator.
Calculator. And what is it? Negative 3.4. Now, Ethan, you just gave me that answer before TJ. And you're one of the people that every time I look up and I say, you guys say math is hard, right? You're like, but it's not hard, is it? Because you just got the right answer. So what? How many times did I say use your calculator here? Did you hear me say it? And did you use it? And did you get the right answer? So can you do math? So should I give you an A? Yeah. Because all the math is going to be this hard. All you got to do is follow the rules. Do I give you all the rules? So straight A's for everyone, right? Okay, let's look at the next one. What's different? Are they BEDMAS brackets? Yes. So what do I do first? Can you do that in your head? Most of you probably not. So you get out your calculator. What is it? Negative 2.8. Should I put brackets around it? Yeah, because it's negative. Plus 4 times 0.2. Notice how I have rewritten it. How long did that take me to do? 1, maybe 2 seconds. How many of you are so pressed for time that you don't have 1 second? Lies. You're not. It's not the Hurt Locker, Dominic. You're not dismantling bombs. I love that movie. It's a great movie. Mostly because it's Jeremy Renner. I'm pretty sure I could watch Jeremy Renner read a book and drink a coffee, and I would think it was a great movie. Because Jeremy Renner is awesome. Hawkeye. Hawkeye and Avengers. No, I haven't. I want to see that because I love Bradley Cooper as well. I think I could watch Bradley Cooper and Jeremy Renner drink coffee, read the newspaper, and talk about it together, and I'd probably think that was a good movie too.
I could do the same thing with Kevin Hart and Adam Sandler, but
No, because Kevin Hart and Adam Sandler could not have an intelligent conversation about what was going on in the news because they're both stupid. Although, you guys, I don't know if you know this, Kevin Hart, there's about to be a movie come out where it's a Kevin Hart concert. Yeah, it's like an hour and a half at Kevin Hart. I don't know if it'll be any good. Kevin Hart's, he's actually a pretty funny guy. I shouldn't be so mean to him. He's a pretty funny guy. Shut up, don't spoil it. I totally want to see that. But I want to see it for The Rock, because I think The Rock is awesome. The Rock is my favorite action guy right now. Drop it. Don't. Hey, I'll hear no besmirchment of The Rock.
Oh, I like San Andreas.
I didn't watch San Andreas because I thought it was going to be bad and I thought it would ruin my opinion of The Rock. So I didn't watch San Andreas on purpose. I even watched Tooth Fairy. Whatever. Shut up. The Rock is awesome. Okay, what do I do next? Dale. I am not talking about Kevin Hart. I'm talking about math.
they're in the new Jumanji.
I don't care. Samuel L. Jackson. He says his foot's too sore for football. Is this true?
It was.
Did you get the 9?
Yeah, the 9s in there. I got my 2 discs from the 9s from home.
Oh, look at you.
Where's the 9s? So the 9s are there. Got one. And these 2.
Sweet.
So, and you got 10s. You got...
Nice. Good. Now I got to use this dinosaur again.
It's heavy too.
I know. It weighs a ton, right? We should have the football team doing curls with it. All right. Hey, Ethan. What do I do there? Which is what? You already had the answer. Why don't you come up and teach the class? I'm just kidding. Then what would they pay me for? What is it again? 0.8. Now, if you can add that in your head, what are you going to do? Go ahead and add it. What if you can't? You're going to use your calculator. And of course it is negative 2. Right? Now, guys, I know that you're sitting there and you're saying to yourself, because I know how kids work, because I was a kid not long ago, you were saying to yourself, Myers, it's easy when we do it right here, and these questions that you give us in our notes are easy, and they are, aren't they? But then, as soon as you go off on your own, you're like, oh, it's harder. Is it? Or, no, it's not that, although that's a big part of it, Waylon. And not just you. You shouldn't say I'm lazy. You should say we are lazy. It's not that. What it is you guys, you lose your commitment. Because when it was only 3 steps, everyone's got the commitment, right? But if it's longer, you tend to lose your path. But should you lose your path? No, because no matter how big I make the question, you just follow BEDMAS all the way through. Okay? Or PEMDAS. PEMDAS. Do you understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter how big the question gets. You just follow the rules. Go. 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 I should not hear a word from anyone. Go. Waylon, if you need to slide further back so you can stretch your legs out, please do so. I have tiny little stubby legs. I've never kicked the chair in my life. My feet barely reach the floor. I'm just kidding. They reach the floor, Austin. But I do have tiny little stubby legs. When I stand up beside Mr. DeVries, I come up to like his shoulder. But if we sit down, we're almost eye to eye. Because I have a normal length body and tiny little legs. 5'8".
Dominic only uses his
5'7" but I round it up. Us short guys are allowed to do that, Kian. Round up your height. I'm 5'7 3/4", so I tell people I'm 5'8". Because 1/4 of an inch is only like that much. All right, so what went in the blank here? 0.4 negative, right? But it's not that, is it? Because it's 0.8 divided by 0.2. So what is it? -4. Right? Is it? Did you use your calculator, Stephen? If you don't know the answer, you're supposed to use your calculator. Did you punch in 0.8 divided by 0.2? And you got -4, which is absolutely correct. And what is 3.8 plus -4? -0.2. Yes? So what do I do here? I got to go all the way out here to do the division. So am I changing 4.6? No, I'm not going to be lazy. I'm going to write it out. Am I changing -3? No, I'm not going to be lazy. Am I going to write it out? Plus. Now I got to change. What is this answer? What's this answer? I can't do it in my head, so I get out my calculator. What is it? What kind of 3? -3. Now I go straight across. 4.6 minus 3 is -1.6. Then take away another 3 is what? If you don't know, you get out your calculator. What's the answer? -1.4. Gouda? Great. What do you think happens with fractions? Is fractions math? Does all math follow the same rules? So does BEDMAS apply to fractions? Yes. I will tell you in a moment. So what do I got to do first here? I got to do the brackets. Are they BEDMAS-y brackets, Stephen? Yes. 8 and 4. What's my common denominator? 8. Sam, you don't have an earphone in when I'm speaking, do you? Because of course that's one of the rules that I don't allow. Did I change this 4?
Yeah.
So what do I do to the 3?
The same.
Change it. How?
By whatever you did.
By whatever I did to 4. What did I do to 4 to get it to 8?
Times that 2.
So what do I do to the 3?
Times that 2.
What is it?
6.
6 minus. Did I change the 8? So do I change the 7? Do I change the 7? No. 6 minus 7 over 8 divided by negative 5 over 16. I rewrite so I can't screw it up. What is 6 minus 7?
1.
What kind of 1?
Minus.
Negative 1 over 8. What does divide become? When I'm dividing fractions, what does divide become? Times, what do I do with this guy?
Flip it.
Flip them. What do I do with 2 negatives?
Ignore the
Ignore them because the answer is going to be what? Positive. Do 1 and 5 work together?
Because if it's
no.
times,
Yeah, but
if it's times, then there's 2 negatives. It's like it's.
Positive. Yeah. Do 16 and 8 work together?
But what about if it's positive? Like, what about if it's plus, but there is 2 negatives? It's not that, right?
No. Do 8 and 16 work together? How many 8s go into 8? 1. How many 8s go into 16? 8 8s?
2.
2. What's 1 times 2? 2. What's 1 times 5?
5.
And it's positive because there's 2 negatives. Done without a calculator. Even though it was fractions. What do I do first here? Are those BEDMAS brackets?
No, they are not.
They aren't. So what do I do? I multiply. Can I do anything with 2 and 6?
Yeah.
What?
Well, first you have to make it no.
No. How many 2s? Right. How many 2s go into 2?
1.
How many 2s go into 6? What's 1 times 1?
1.
1. What's 3 times 3?
9.
9. Do I need a negative sign? Negative 2/3 times positive 1. Yes. Plus 1/2. And I rewrite, so I can't do it wrong. Can I put 9s and 2s together?
No.
No. I need a common denominator. What is it? 18. 2 goes up there. 9 goes up there. Negative 2 plus 9. What's the answer? It's a pretty tough question. Okay. You guys do that one. I helped you out by leaving the 3/4 alone to remind you that you multiply first. 2 negatives means what? Positive. Do 2 and 4 fix each other up? Go. Figure that out. So somebody should be able to tell me what to do right here.
Find the common numbers and do it for the
So what is it?
1 and 2.
1 and 2. What's 1 times 1? What's 3 times 2? 6. So I have 3/4 minus 1/6, right? What's my common denominator? 12. So it's 3/4 minus 1/6. Use a common denominator of 12. So this has to be, how do I get 6 to 12? So this must be 2 over 12. How do I get 4 to 12? 9 over 12. What's 9 minus 2? 7 over 12. Done without a calculator. Is everyone okay? Now remember, you don't need all these spaces. They're there to help you. Some of you may have needed to do this. 2 times 1 over 3 times 4, and then done your canceling. Okay? But I'm starting to hope that we are so far into our practice that some of you are able to leave some of those blanks blank. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, what about this one? Divide first, but that means I got to multiply by the reciprocal of 1 over 5. What's the reciprocal of 1 over 5? 5 over 1. Anything work there? No, so what's 1 times 5? Negative 5 over, what's 6 times 1? 6. Now I got to add them. Can I add sixths and halves? I need a common denominator of what? 6. Did I change this 6? So do I change that 5? So negative 5 over 6. Did I change this 2? To what? I changed it to 6. So what did I have to do? Multiply by 3, right? So what do I do to this 3? Multiply by 3. What's 3 times 3? Negative 9. What's negative 5 plus negative 9? And some of you are going to just say an answer right now, and it might be wrong. What is it? You said negative 4 because you're doing 9 minus 5. But that's not what it is it? Negative 14. Can I leave it like that? I can, but I'd be better to do negative 7 over 2, over 3, I mean, which would be negative 2 and 1/3. Everybody good? It's all the same stuff we've been doing, but put together. The question just becomes, what order do you do it in? I don't know, but math guys give you that plan, don't they? All you got to do is remember BEDMAS. So here we go. Let's see if we can figure this out. This is real life situation. So if I got to convert measurements or temperatures, so Celsius equals Fahrenheit minus 32 divided by 1.8. So now let's do this math. I have 28.4 in Celsius. So where does this 28.4 go in this equation? Does it go for C or F? 28.4 F. So where does that 28.4 go? F. 28.4 minus 32 divided by 1.8. And now I just do my work. What do I do first? Great. Can you do that in your head? You could, but why would you when you're allowed to use your calculators? Get it out and try it. What is the answer? Negative 3.6 divided by 1.8. Now do that on your calculator. Your answer is going to be negative. And what is it? Negative 2. Got it? That's it. Now, let's see if you guys can do it. Notice here, I've changed the formula around. Now I'm going from Celsius to Fahrenheit. So this negative 12.5 goes in for C. Negative 12.5. There's the formula. Use your calculator to tell me what the right answer is. What do you do first? It even tells you. Where do you see multiplying? Right here, 9 times 12.5. So am I touching 32? Nope. Now, 9 times 12.5 negative plus, what is that? Negative 112.5, right? Divided by 5. Now what do I do? What's my next step? Remember, this is your thinking over here. What's my next step? I got an add and I got a divide. What do I do next? Divide. 32 plus, can you do that in your head? How many of you can do 112.5 divided by 5 in your head? So what do you use? What is it? Negative 22.5. Right? Now I'm going to do my adding. What's 32 plus negative 22.5? $19.5. Right. 9.5. Yeah, that's supposed to be negative 112. All right, now listen, guys. Everybody listen. Everybody listen. Okay? Class is over in 9 minutes. All right? I want you ready for your quiz tomorrow. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write 6 questions on 8 questions on here. You guys should have some blank space at the bottom of your notes, don't you? No, you don't, do you?
No.
Okay. If you have a little corner, just write the questions out. I'm not going to give you any work in your book tonight because I want you to practice for your quiz. Okay? So I'm going to put 8 questions on here. All right? You guys do them as your homework tonight. So write them down first, all 8 of them, and if there's time left, you can start working on them. Understand? And tomorrow when you get in the room, instead of doing a warm-up, we'll mark these questions, then we'll do our quiz. Okay? And then tomorrow, we'll do the workbook work that goes with these notes. Everybody good? Because these notes also gave us practice for tomorrow, didn't they? Everyone good? Okay. So I'm going to write 8 questions here. Yes. And 6 of them are going to be multiply and divide. I'm going to put in 2 add and subtracts just to keep your minds working. Okay? Those are the 2 easy ones that aren't going to be on your quiz tomorrow. Now, in red, I'm going to write the ones that you really want to make sure you do. Okay? If you're going to be lazy and not do homework, you can kind of maybe let them go. But the ones in red, you really should do.
Okay. This test of all marks.
No, it's just a quiz, probably 15 or...
Oh, the quiz?
Yeah. It's a schmoopy, yes. Mr. Myers, how dare you? I put 3 multiplies in there. Of course you can try that, because it's no different, because math always follows the rules, right? Maybe. It's multiplying fractions. Oops, I don't want brackets there. Sorry, guys. Ooh, divide and multiply in the same question. Schmoopalicious. All right, and finally, it's not, Austin. It seems hard when you look at it. Ooh, divide and multiply, blah, but you know how to do it. All right, that's your work for tonight. It's only 6 questions because I want you to. Oh no! Some of the question disappeared. Somebody wrote it down, yeah? Okay.
It's on the YouTube video. Trust me, we all watch it.
You don't. You're liars.
I've watched it like twice.
I can see how many views my videos get, and they don't get 20 views every night.
I want to get to
My channel gets 2,000.
No.